Quiet.
There we go. Now we're recording. Yay. So, hello, I'm Nancy Herkness, and this is Susan Carlisle. We're here, I should say, for episode 3 of Pulling Back the Curtain. So, Susan, let's hear about your exciting book news.
Well, my not so exciting part is that I did not win the Holt. I was up as a finalist for the Holt Award, but and that's okay. Being a finalist is an honor, and in truth, that is an honor. And I am the have a new book title for my next book, which will come out at the end of the year, which is an Irish vet in Kentucky. Loved writing this book. It's a companion to my other Kentucky Derby book. And I have the title for the book that comes out in early 25, which is A Kiss Under the Northern Lights, which takes place in Iceland. So that's exciting news for me as well. So
I'm excited about your book set in Iceland because I went to Iceland a few years ago and just loved it. So, reading your book will just take me right back there. That's very cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. We made a visit as well, so it was a lot. It's always a lot of fun to visit, but or revisit. Nancy, tell us what your news is.
Well, I have a lot of news. I'm wearing a tiara with a dragon on it because this is release month for Royal Caleva Louise. And the reason for the dragon is the last name of the royal family on Caleva is Dragon. So they are dragons. Um, and it's the dragon throne. So it comes out next Tuesday, June 25th, on Kindle and also in audio. It's actually, telling you a little secret here, it's actually available in print now. You can actually order it in print now. And let me tell you, he's even more beautiful in person than he is on the screen. I like hug him a lot. Um, just because of some of the stuff Amazon needs you to do, you have to put the print book out sooner. So that's why, little secret, you can order it now. I am also giving away 3 autographed print copies in a Goodreads giveaway. So if you're on Goodreads and you'd like to enter to win those, the giveaway runs through June 24th. So get right over there. See if you can get this. Just to remind everyone, the book is on Kindle at a special price for both the pre-orders and the first week of release. It's $2.99 on Kindle. It will go up to $4.99 on Kindle once the release week is over. And if you buy it during that time period, all the royalties will be donated to Clarion Paws, Paws, which is a no-kill feline cat rescue organization in Western Pennsylvania. My daughter is a veterinarian, and I asked her for suggestions about who to donate the money to. And she said these people do amazing work for kitties. And I have 2 kitties that I love, so I'm all about helping kitties. So if you buy the book in the next couple of weeks, you will be not just supporting an author, you'll be supporting kitty cats too, which is always a good thing, right? And launch week will be a big celebration on Facebook. I'll be doing giveaways. We'll be playing Royal Trivia, where you can win an Amazon gift card. I will be doing a special Facebook Live on Tuesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. EDT, which will just be fun. And I'll be wearing different tiaras because when you write about the royal family, you have a whole wardrobe of tiaras, basically. And I got to tell you one thing, I have learned to respect women who wear tiaras because they're heavy and they give you a headache. And these, I mean, like Princess Kate, how the heck she wears those tiaras at those long state dinners is just beyond me. It can't be fun. I mean, I know she has a lot of hair and maybe that cushions it or something, but they still weigh a ton. And mine are fake. I can't imagine what the real ones are like. So kudos to the tiara wearers of the world. So that's what's going on sort of in my, outward facing book news. How about you, Susan? What's going on in inward facing book news? What book are you actually writing right now?
I am currently writing a book that takes place in Yosemite National Park. When my husband and I were visiting, I interviewed the medical officer there of the clinic, and I thoroughly enjoyed him, was super duper impressed, and he was fascinated by the fact I was a romance writer and that he had the chance for part of his life story to appear in the book. So I'm really tickled to be doing it. And I'm also working on a nonfiction. I took my 4 teenage children to Europe for a summer in a backpack, and we swapped houses with families in Wales and Germany. And it turned into a kind of a mellowing of life with teenagers, or a reality check for both of us, I guess. And so I'm writing it in a memoir form, which will be a travel memoir. And we had a lot of interesting things happen that summer, far more than I had anticipated. So
I
on
can
that.
imagine.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I'll share some of those in one of our programs as we go along.
Oh, that would be fun. I'd love to hear some of those stories.
Yeah, that was some of them were really good. But Nancy, I wanted to tell you about your book, and Missy and Judy and anybody else listening. Listen, you want to read her books. They're wonderful. And I was telling her that I was thought maybe I would get a paper copy, and then I thought maybe I'd get an audio, and then now I'm thinking I'll get a paper copy with an autograph and then listen on the audio so I can hear that lovely voice of that man in my ear. So I'm torn about what to do. And by the time everything goes up in price, I will have made my decision.
Oh, good, good. Glad to hear that. But
Uh,
I just want to go back to your Yosemite book, though, because I was thinking as you were talking about interviewing the medical officer there, that one of the things I love about being a writer is that people are so willing to share their, expertise with you. And it's one of my favorite things to do is talk to people about what they do. And they're so generous with their time and their knowledge. And it's just one of the cool things about being a writer. I mean, and it's, as you said, they're kind of excited that they get to talk to a writer about it. So that's fun, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it
oh, it's
great?
great fun, and he was just really surprised that on my vacation I was wanting to come in and interview him. I remember one of my earlier books, I asked my youngest son's heart surgeon, I said, would this happen in, would you do this? And he sent me an email back, a single uh done whole page worth, single space, whole page worth of information. He said, no, that wouldn't have happened in my OR, but this would. And so I couldn't use it in that original book, but I did use all the information later on in another one. So it doesn't take much to get stuff out of them,
It's so true. Just say I'm a writer and I want to use it in my book, and they're like, "Sure, I'll spill my guts." It's great.
yeah, exactly. And I want to add one more thing, a couple of more things that are going on in my life. I am going to be talking about writing, hopefully better than I am tonight, with Bernadette Welch on a podcast this Friday at 5:30. And we're going to be talking all things books and writing. And then Polly Campbell next month. So I am really excited about those interviews, and it's an opportunity for me to get to know somebody I don't know currently, and talk about my favorite subject. So can't beat that. So
That'll be fun. I can't wait to hear them. So I think you put the link to the
Bernadette,
Bernadette
yeah,
in
and I
in
don't
the
have Polly's yet.
right.
Yeah,
It's in the chat. I put a bunch of links in the chat too, including the Goodreads giveaway. So Susan, you can just pop right over and enter that.
there you go. Do you think it looks bad if I win everything? That's like an inward curve on that one, yeah.
So I guess we're at the point where we're going to play book trivia. So I'm going to ask a question about my books, which you can find the answer to on my website, the link to which is also in the comments in the chat. And I think Susan is madly putting the link to her website in the chat right now. So just check our website and answer the question in the chat, give the answer, and also give your email address in case we need to get a hold of you, because you've won. So my prize is going to be an autographed copy of Second Time Around. And I've chosen this because it has both kids and dogs in it, which is a slight hint. So the question to find on my website is, in Royal Caleva Luis, what is Eve's profession? What is Eve's profession in Royal Caleva Luis? Okay, so Susan, what's your question?
My question is what is my cause? You can find it on my website. I distinctly say this is my cause. And be sure, again, to write it in the comments and put your email. And I'm giving away a 3-in-1. It's called The Surgeon's Passion. And it's a book by me, Charlotte Hawkes, and Sue McKay. All of us write medical romances. So this would keep you busy on the beach for some time, to say the least.
Wow.
And it's an opportunity also to get to know some new authors as well. So
So
y'all
can
be sure.
I want to win that one. Can I?
Okay.
That looks amazing, and I love the cover too.
I like it when these just accidentally show up in the mail, because these are a lot of fun. Yeah.
That is cool. Very cool. So let's talk about summer. It's summer. What have you done already this summer, Susan?
I have been to the beach with my daughter and her family. We went to Panama City Beach, the Redneck Riviera, as it's referred to. I haven't been in years, and so it was fun to go back. We went to Captain Anderson's I started to say Captain D's, which everybody can do that, but no, Captain Anderson's for supper. And we were talking about it, said how long it had been since I had been there. I went when I was 20 years old and I was at college, and we went down there for a weekend and went to Captain Anderson's for dinner. So let's just suffice it to say, in a few years, I will be a golden eagle and been out of college for 50 years. So it's been some time. And Captain Anderson's was still good, and it was still in the same spot. And so we had a good time with that. And last week, I spent a week at the lake at a writing retreat with some friends, and we just rode all week. And some days we didn't take our pajamas off. So
So you did this. Where'd you go on the retreat?
My mother has a place on the lake in northern Alabama, and we went there, and we've been doing this for about 10 years, the same group of ladies. So we don't necessarily eat meals together. We certainly never eat the same meal, all of us. Some of us will share a meal, and then some we just have, whatever. And they all know to come and bring their own food, and they consider the kitchen theirs, and just have at it. So we have a real good time. We have 2 rooms and 1 bath, and we all get along.
One bathroom? That's insane. I would never survive that. So I've never been on a writer's retreat. I'm embarrassed to say this. Do you just literally get up in the morning, have breakfast, and then sit down at your laptop and write for the rest of the day? I mean, how does it work?
It's pretty much that way. The first night we usually get talk around the table and go and tell about our families and what's going on, kind of get it out of our system.
Right.
And then we pretty much concentrate on our writing. Almost everybody comes with a goal for the end of the week in mind. May not reach it, but some do. And everybody works and does it at their own pace. But if somebody gets stuck or needs to brainstorm a story, we all will get together whenever it's convenient and talk about it. And it's a very useful and very fruitful week of writing. So
So you do it for a whole week. Wow.
yeah, it's kind of longer and longer. I used to be, I'd be about ready to go home about the second or third night, but now, it's at least 6 nights away. So, and then sometimes I kind of have to shove them out of the door, Even like, in fact,
They're having too much fun. They don't want to go home, huh?
in fact, we were planning to do this in July, and that was the date agreed on. And one of the girls couldn't make it the whole time in July. So I said, well, come on, we'll do it this in June. So we've got a week in June and July.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
you should get lots done, given that you're having all this time writing. Wow.
in theory, I had finished a book, so I was reading a magazine,
Oh, the truth comes out.
Yeah, exactly. And I soak our feet. And I everybody kind of looked at me, I said, you want to soak your feet? And I said, like what? And I said, in warm water and Epsom salt. And now that's the big deal, is we all just sit around. But we don't slow down enough to do that. So I'll give myself a pedicure, every time. So anyway,
So it's like a writing retreat and spa week all at the same time.
it can be, but you only get that one bathroom. So you have to holler. If you get a shower, you have to say, does anybody need in the next 15 minutes? Everybody scurries to go to the bathroom, and then we all take a shower.
Well, wait, can't you like go swimming in the lake and clean off?
You could.
Okay.
Yeah, that does not bother me. They would not consider that
Oh
clean.
no. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Fair. Fair.
lots of fun. So Nancy, how about you? What have you been up to this summer?
A lot, actually, but the most recent trip I took was out to just outside of Cincinnati to go to the reader author get together run by Laurie Foster every year, and that they shorten that to RAG-T, so reader author get together. And I'd always heard great things about this event. This first time I'd been able to go, and let me tell you, the reality was even better than the rumors. It was the most incredible, the most enthusiastic group of readers I've ever encountered. I literally walked into the hotel after, getting off my flight and taking the shuttle from the airport, and a reader walks up to me and says, Nancy, so nice to meet you. We'd never met each other. It was strictly a Facebook relationship. And it just went like that for the rest of the weekend. It was amazing. And they were not just enthusiastic. I mean, they would, like, when they bought books, they didn't just buy one book, they bought the entire series. So they would walk up to me with a pile of 4 books and say, I want all of these. I mean, it was just, nobody does that. It was nuts. So they were also just a ton of fun to hang out with. I did what's called a boardroom, which is literally a conference room in the hotel where you do activities with the readers. So because I write royalty, we blinged tiaras, we played royal trivia, we ate king cake from New Orleans. I actually shipped it up from New Orleans. It was delicious. So Judy, you should appreciate that, right? Maybe you've heard of it, Gambino's Bakery in New Orleans. Have you heard of it? Yeah, it was so good. They were the only place I could find that would actually make king cake off season. So it was fabulous. And what else did we do? Oh, and I had a raffle too. And but we talked books. I mean, they loved talking about books. It was fabulous. They were like, please tell us about your books. I was like, okay, I can do that. The problem was that right in the middle of my boardroom, the fire alarm went off. And of course, we're all thinking it's a false alarm because it almost always is. So we kind of stroll out the fire door, the exit, and we're standing out, and it's a beautiful day, and we're standing outside the hotel and having a great time chatting as usual. And all of a sudden, fire trucks start pulling up. And I don't mean one fire truck. I mean, every fire truck in the county pulls up around the hotel because it turns out it was a real fire. There was an electrical fire that started in a light fixture in one of the guest rooms, and It was crazy. We were outside for 2 hours. They wouldn't let us back in. And of course, the problem with putting out a fire is it means there's a lot of water. And the fire was on the third floor, and the boardrooms where we all had our books was on the first floor. And there's this thing called gravity that means the water comes down to the first floor. Luckily, nobody's books were damaged, although we were having a heart attack. The firemen were nice enough in one room where the water was really pouring down. They put plastic over all the books. They were in there. You could see them putting plastic over them. Incredibly nice. My boardroom, luckily, there was water in one corner. Didn't really hit anything crucial for me. My books were fine. So, and the important thing is no one was hurt and the whole show was able to go on. But I give Laurie Foster huge credit. I mean, this is her event, right? There are 400 people there. She's standing outside, and I just happened to be standing beside her at one point, and everybody's sort of watching the firemen racing in and out of the building. And Laurie goes, "You know what? I don't think you and I have gotten a picture together yet. Let's do a picture." I'm like, how can this woman be that calm? She's thinking about taking pictures with her authors. I thought that was incredibly sweet and incredibly impressive. And as it turned out, it was not a disaster, and no books were injured in the fire. So it was all good. But the folks were so much fun. They had costume events at night. So people dressed up as their favorite monarch, which of course was right up my alley with the royal family. They dressed up in these hilarious pajama outfits because one night you wore your pajamas to dinner. It was just a blast, I have to say. And through it all, they just wanted to talk about books. So you
That's
should
great.
go, Susan. You should go. If they have it next year, I'm going to be there because it makes you feel like a rock star.
It sounds like fun. Despite the fire, it sounds like you had a blast. I
I
remember
did. Yeah, we could have done without the fire, but it was fine as it turned out. It was fun. So
my first editor told me, she said, anything pretty much goes with a book except for anything liquid. And so I have really abided by that. I don't let anybody with a drink or an open drink come near my books, because once they get wet, all you can do is destroy them pretty much.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's
it was nerve-wracking until we figured out what was going on and that they were protecting the books. There was a bookstore there, one of the
yeah.
rooms was literally full of books with the bookstore. And we were all going, "Oh, please don't let it be anywhere near that." And it turned out it was not. There was no problem with that. But God, what a nightmare, really. Woo,
Yeah.
scary,
That, but it's a good thing that it turned out not to be anybody hurt or
No,
anything like
no,
that.
no.
So,
The
yeah.
poor man whose room the fire started in, everything in it was a total loss because they just drenched it. But
Yeah.
he was incredibly philosophical about it. He's like, I'll just buy another laptop. What are you going to do? I mean, he was great. I give him credit. He wasn't with our organization. He was just, a traveler. So
Right, right,
anyway, I felt bad for him. So,
yeah.
all right. So let's go on. So you asked me a very interesting question. So I'm going to start with you, which I think is, what famous person would you like to go to dinner with and why? I want to hear this.
My initial thought to this question was Matthew McConaughey, because I could just look at him. But I really think if I want to have an entertaining meal and just have fun, that either Martin Short or Steve Martin would be a fun, either one of them would be fun to have a meal with and a discussion with about just everything in general. At least I would laugh. How about that?
Yes.
That would be a lot of fun. How about you? What famous person would you like to go?
Well, I got to tell you a story about Steve Martin because
Okay.
oddly enough, one time I was in New York and a whole set of circumstances that I won't go into. I ended up at the Regis and Kelly Ripa show. And Steve Martin was a guest on the show, which I had no idea he was going to be. I think he was promoting one of his books. And he was very funny chatting with them. But right in the middle of his interview, they went to commercial break and he plays the banjo. So they brought out his banjo, and during the commercial, so the poor people on TV didn't get to see, was watching TV, didn't get to see him. He played the banjo for us in the live audience. He was amazing. I mean, he's really, really good. So if you invite him to dinner, definitely tell him to bring his banjo with him.
I will. Maybe he'll play Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Trying to remember what he played. Oh, you know what he played for us was the famous song. Oh God, what is it? Dueling Banjos. That's what he
Yeah,
played.
yeah, yeah.
He was
That
really,
takes a lot of talent right
oh,
there.
it's so fast. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was incredible.
yeah.
But yeah, so who would I have dinner with? I think I would have dinner with Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor. You know, he was in Sherlock Holmes. He did Alan Turing in The Imitation Game, and he is Dr. Strangelove in the Marvel universe. And I've seen him interviewed, and he's very smart. He's very articulate. He's very talented, of course. He also has a great sense of humor about himself. He's very self-deprecating, but what I truly love about him is his voice. Somebody described it as a jaguar inside a cello. And I thought, oh my God, that's the perfect description, because I could listen to him read the phone book, seriously. So the idea of sitting across the table from him for an entire evening and just listening to that gorgeous voice washing into my ears would be my idea of heaven. Truly. So,
Maybe he will read one of your books one of the days for audio.
oh, I would, oh my God, that would be the best thing ever,
Yeah,
ever.
it
Oh,
would be
oh,
good.
it
It
just makes
would
me
be
shiver to
good.
think about it. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it was a fun thing to think about. But I assumed it had to be someone alive too, so I picked a living
Yeah,
person.
well, either one, but somebody interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
as I said, I would
that
just want to listen to him. So I think that's kind of it for our formal discussion. Our next Pulling Back the Curtain will be on July 16th at 7 p.m. EDT.
mhm. And the ladies, Judy and Missy, do y'all have anything? Y'all can unmute yourself.
Well,
He
let us close up, and then I'll stop the recording, and then we can just
Okay,
chit
all
chat.
right, good enough. Well, then, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next month. And we say bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.